All right, Afan. Starting with the warm up, you know how this works. First question is, where do you live?
Sir, are you sharing your screen?
I am not, but you can start responding. Where do you live?
I live in Abu Dhabi. It is the capital of UAE and the most the most largest emirate in the UAE. It is known for its tourist attractions and its rich heritage and rich culture, with many of the citizens of UAE living in it.
What do you do? Sorry, what did you do during your last holiday?
During my last holiday, um, we went to other emirates here in the UAE, which was Dubai, and we also had some time with our cousins who came over. We went to other tourist attractions in Abu Dhabi also.
And what would you like to do when you finish school?
After finishing school, I mainly work on my homework and I spend time with my brother and sister. We often play together and um, we often play together and I work on doing my school assignments, the one which I have dues for.
Okay, I think you misunderstood the question. What would you like to do when you finish school means when you graduate from school. So maybe when you're done with your A level, perhaps, what would you like to do?
I would like to go in the tech field, um, mainly study on AI and robots, computer science, because that's what will be leading the world in the future.
Okay. Now, starting with the interview, which is part one, and these are questions about keeping fit. Sorry. So, Afan, can you tell me about games and sports activities that people enjoy in your country?
Some of the sports activities that people enjoy in my country is mainly football, basketball, and many other sports like volleyball, badminton, and rugby. I would say, mostly being football, as it's the most liked sport in the UAE by their locals and citizens, and everyone is used to playing football because um, I don't know, it suits the environment in UAE. Besides that, even um, badminton and volleyball is played because of other people interests.
Okay. Can you tell me about some of the things you do to keep fit?
um I don't do much to keep fit. What I would do, I would say, I walk two every 2 days, like every two alternate days, and I also play basketball, do some exercises, warm up exercises when I wake up and before sleeping.
Okay. Do you think sport or exercise should be compulsory at school? Why or why not?
I think sport and exercises should be compulsory at school because every student needs a break from their academic studies. Like whenever you're studying for, I would say, 5 6 hours in the school, you really need a break every day. I would say in breaks or having separate periods of PE.
Okay. Now, keep in mind, beta, that, right, I think you're trying to respond very factually, right? So, what do you do to keep fit? I don't do it, which is fine, right? But if you want to elaborate your response, you can make things up. So, if what do you do to keep fit? I go to the gym regularly. I play badminton or table tennis regularly, right? I go to the sports club. I go swimming over the weekends, and you can just say those things. I go for a jog in the evening to the nearby park, right? And so you can just make stuff up because again, the examiner is not going to check whether you actually do that, right? It is about giving a complete and elaborated response. So if you don't do anything, you just say, well, you're saying, well, I don't do anything. And so, I mean, that's fine, but then, what are you going to put in to fill the time that you have for your response? Get it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, moving towards the short talk, right? Here's the question, as you can see on your screen. Just zoom in a bit more, right? So it's about your local area. The question is, your local authority wants to improve the area. There are two suggestions for doing this, either building a new shopping mall or building a new airport. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of each option. Say which option you would prefer and why. So you've got about a minute to think about this. Let me know when you're ready, and then you'll have about 2 minutes to speak on the topic. All right, so you can begin.
First, I'll be talking about the advantages of building a new shopping mall in a local authority, in an area, local area. First, I would say it would increase jobs as many people would be involved in making, building the shopping mall, and running the shopping mall. Like, for example, retail stores, restaurants, and many other like um, stores like uh, sports stores, I would say, grocery stores, and other things. And another advantage of building a new shopping mall would be like it's you won't have to travel that much if you want to go from one place to another. Like if where I live, it's a shopping mall is really far away, but if it's built in a local area, it could be really efficient for us to go at any spot. And talking about the disadvantages of a new shopping mall would be it would increase competition in the area, I would say, because of different shopping malls maybe being in the area. And it would also increase the pollution, and uh, it would increase traffic in the area. Talking about the advantages of building a new airport, it would open a way to transport in the local country, being city to city or state to state. It would be easier for people to go from one place to another. And and, and the disadvantages of building a new airport would be increased pollution, and increase in pollution, mainly noise pollution and air pollution, I would say, because of the busy airports we have everywhere. So um, I would I would prefer building a new shopping mall, as it is more beneficial to many people, as a lot of people don't need to go to the airport as much as they need to go to the shopping mall.
All right. Okay, so you've tried detailing that. That's nice. Let's move on to the last part. So this is called the discussion, as you know, and it has follow-on questions. So how important do you think it is to have green spaces like parks in towns and cities?
I think it's really important to have green spaces like parks in towns and cities, as mostly in towns and cities it's a commercial area, industrial area, where there are businesses and other stores, malls, and residential areas, I would say. But we really need these green spaces to relax our minds and help us to refresh and go away from the commercial life we all live in.
Okay. Uh, Many young people are not interested in exploring their local area. Do you agree?
Many young people are not interested in the local area. Sir, 1 minute. Not interested in exploring the local area? I would say yes, as because young people don't have, I think, that much time to explore the local areas, or they don't know what they would be uncovering in their local area, being it any tourist attraction or any open space like a valley or anything like that. Sir, I don't know for this question.
Okay, so exploring their local area means perhaps the town or the city or the area that they're living in. So they're going and seeing, oh, I didn't know there was a park over here. I didn't know this kind of shop was over here. I didn't know this old structure, this piece of architecture was over here. This very old building, and so right, they, for example, just live their life going to malls and going to school and perhaps going to the cinema, and so it's very limited. So that's basically what we're talking about. So you can go both ways. You can say that, they're asking whether you agree, so you can agree, and you're saying, and you say, well, they don't explore their own areas, right? It could be just the locality where they live, or the city, or perhaps even the country, but they're asking for local areas, so keep it small. And right, you could disagree. You could say, well, no, right, at least the young people that I know are always out and about, and they love going to new places they haven't been to before, or they've already explored the area, and they know every place there is. And that's, we always go someplace new, that ice cream shop in the corner in the gully that has wonderful ice cream, but very few people know about it. Or that clothes shop, or that shoe shop, or that grocery store that has some unique items, right? Or whatever, like, or that park, or that plants shop, flower shop, or an aquarium, right? Or a pet shop, or you know an open space, a ground where you can play, right? Or maybe a scenic view by a lake which very few people know about. So, right, I mean, you could take this both. So that's what they mean by exploring their local area. And again, everything that I just said, I made up, right? So you don't have to be factual, that whether or not the people, the young people, including yourself, explore the local area. Just make it up. If you don't have a response that's based on in what you actually do, then just make it up. Okay, next question. Do you think large numbers of tourists have a negative effect on the places they visit?
Yes, a large number of tourists have a negative effect on the places they visit. For example, going to any place where it's their culture, you are interfering with their culture, interfering with their habitat and their habits. Negative effects would be.
I'm sorry. Are you saying something?
Yes.
Okay, I lost your sound for a moment. All right, so you're saying the negative effects about interfering in the culture and their habits and stuff. So carry on.
What was I say? Interfering with their habits, their cultures, and their local traditions. For example, some here in Dubai, um, it's a tourist attraction area, but somewhere where tourists wouldn't be. For example, somewhere in, sure, I don't know.
Okay, so right, the problem is because you only know about Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and those cities have been built specifically to be tourist attractions, and so this doesn't fit in with your experience. Okay, because Dubai and Abu Dhabi and UAE in general is running on tourists, right? All the malls and the shops and the amusement parks and the etc., whatever else is there. So it doesn't really fit in with your experience. But right, other like if you go to other countries that aren't geared towards having so many tourists, right? But people do visit, and so you can go both ways. Again, you can agree that it does have a negative effect because, right, they don't know about the culture as you mentioned, and so they behave in a way which could be offensive to the locals. They don't appreciate the lifestyle or the food. Uh, right, they bring in negative effects. They are not careful about cleanliness, or there's a lot of littering and garbage, and so that causes problems. It causes, right, because people tend to sell things at a higher price to tourists, and so that drives it makes things more expensive overall. It makes things more expensive overall for the locals, and so it's a problem for the locals because, right, regular things that would become more expensive for them as well, right? So it drives prices up. It makes things less available for everyone because they're being bought off by tourists or sold to tourists. And so you can take that approach as in yes, it's having a negative effect, or you could disagree and uh, you could say, well, no, it's very positive. And so, right, you could actually fit that in with your experience, right? It really helps the economy. It makes the city a metropolis, a multicultural environment where you've got people from all over the world and they're mixing, and you've got continental foods, you've got, right, all these different facilities that have been made for tourists, but the locals can benefit from them, and you've got good infrastructure because of that. You've got good clean roads and utilities and etc., so you can take it to the positive side as well, right? So it really depends. Now, the last question: tourists should always try to speak the language of the country they visit. What do you think?
Yes, tourists should try to speak the language of their country they visit. Mainly their greetings like hi, hello, thank you, welcome, or things like that. But um, trying to adapt to their actual language and their accents and everything like that would be really hard for the person, for the tourist, as you go there to enjoy, not to learn languages or something like that.
Okay, so you tried to offer some points, and so you could say, well, they should know some basic greetings and interactions, but you're not there to learn, you're there to enjoy, and so that should be the focus, uh, right? And if a country regularly, if an area regularly gets tourists, then they should also be welcoming, and you can communicate in uh, a neutral language. In this case, would be English because it is the lingua franca, right? It is the world's language, and so we could reach common ground if you have, right? So UAE is an Arab country, so it's Arabic over there and a particular dialect of Arabic, and you've got someone coming in from for example from China, and so right, the locals don't know Chinese, the person from China doesn't know Arabic, and so they could possibly communicate in English, right? And that will actually help things move along because, right, you'll be able to, I mean, quite honestly put, right, both of those sides parties would be able to take advantage of the other in terms of the tourist having a good experience and the local earning, right? Because that's basically what happens in tourism if you break it down. Now, right, again, I would say at the end, so we are at the end of this, and I would stress that do some reading, general knowledge, because when you do that, you will have more content to respond to these questions, even if you don't have personal experience with them. Just having general knowledge will help you respond. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we'll end with that, and we'll meet again next time. We'll do some reading.
Okay.
All
Allah
right.
Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.